The State Library has a children's research collection of over 100,000 children's books. We collect material, both Australian and overseas material, both antiquarian and contemporary. In fact, we reflect literary history over time in our collection. It is designed for people doing research into children's literature, so the overseas component tends to be books that are pivotal. So most people would know the Dr. Seuss books. Now, we don't have the complete series of that, but we do have one or two titles because they show that trend in American publishing at the time. But someone like Maurice Sendak, we have a large collection of his material because his style changed and he was always quite pivotal in terms of the groundbreaking work that he did with picture books especially. Our collection focus is Australian children's literature, and we are charged with recording the Australian child's literary heritage. You also get an Australiana, a sense of Australian illustration in the books of May Gibbs, Dorothy Wall, and they're all pre-Second World War. And then in the 1960s, in Australian children's literature, you get a lot of issues. So the 60s was a period of multiculturalism, and that comes into children's literature. The 70s, girls can do anything boys can do, and you get that in children's books. And I guess today you also get contemporary themes, so you get picture books where you might have children with two mothers or two fathers, so the single-sex relationships is coming into children's books. Also, when you look at a national literature like you can through our collection, you actually see that those trends often are very candid. Certainly the books for boys and books for girls quite candidly categorise what girls were expected to do and what boys were expected to do, especially in the 19th century. But also the issues, novels and picture books that have come in over time, not only are candid but are often very slightly didactic in their message. So they're very self-conscious, and you can perceive that in the content of the books. And then there's a certain relaxation and it becomes much more the norm. I get a lot of inquiries about people wanting to research illustrated Australian children's books, and we've really got to narrow that down because that's, for me, represents about 35,000 items. And so if people can tell me what era they're interested in, if it's a particular style of artist, if it's a particular style of book production, all helps. We also get people that recall books from their childhood, and often what someone reads into a book is not necessarily what a cataloguer would index it to. So what is perhaps even a character who isn't the main protagonist might be what they remember, or even a setting. All of that helps if we're to find the book that they remember. So certainly author or illustrator or even setting are pretty essential, and we can certainly successfully find their book with that sort of information. But often memory and what a child perceives as being the main focus of a book is not necessarily the way it's been catalogued. So sometimes it's a tricky business.